Okay, so today we're building a more complex user form. So you might recall that last time we were together, we made a user form that had a couple of labels, a couple of text boxes, and a couple of buttons. It was give me an email address and a password, and we'll work with it. So today we're going to get a lot more complex. So there are two files to download today. We'll be starting with this one called products.xlsm, and we'll have this set of image files. Now, folks, the set of image files, here's how ultimately I want you to be configured. So you're going to have to unzip the, what is it? This image files is a zip archive. So you'll have to unzip that. But ultimately, I want you to be like this, to where you've got pics, and then in that folder pics, which will extract, you've got all the pictures that we'll have. And then right at the same level where the pics folder is where I want products.xlsm to live. If you just download pics and extract it, it's going to make if you download the image file and extract it, it's going to create a folder called products, and then it's going to put the pics folder there. And so if you extract that and then just move your products.xlsm so it's at that location, that would be a great idea. Are we actually going to get to the pictures today? I don't know. Like the last thing we'll do, we might get to it. It's just kind of flashy. You don't really need it for the project, but I'd like to show you how to do it anyway. And then once you get that open up, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so review. We took some big steps in class last time, and that was the idea of event-driven programming. So for full credit for class participation, someone tell me, what is it that's new and exciting about event-driven programming? What's the big difference? That's right. So now, instead of saying, we're just going to have the user say, I want to run this program, we're going to say, we're going to watch what the user's doing. And when they do something that we're expecting, pow, we're going to, whether they know we're running something or not, we're going to run some code. And so that lets us do some neat things. Of course, we can chase a button around the screen, and that's kind of a fun thing to do. But there's also events that happen not inside of a form, but just on a workbook or a worksheet. So full credit for class participation if you can tell me some event that happens to the workbook that we can make code respond to. Go ahead. The open event, right. So when I'm building code on the module for a workbook, let's just take a quick look at that and then we'll move on. So do I have this open yet? I don't think I have it open yet. So here I'm opening up this workbook, enable editing, we'll close whatever this was, I don't know. So if I come to my code window, we have these Excel objects. This workbook is right here. If I double click that, that brings me open to the module that's built into the workbook. And if I choose workbook here, I can then choose from all of these events that happen to a workbook. And when it opens is the default one. So we can say, listen, when a workbook opens, execute some code. When the workbook, before the workbook saves, so the user has said, I'm ready to save something. They've said save, but before the workbook gets saved, we can do something else to it. So that's kind of the neat and sneaky thing now here is we can make code to execute without the user actually saying or even knowing, I want to execute this code now. And so that's the big mind shift in terms of working with event-driven programming. Okay, any questions then before we jump in and get started with today's content, which is really going to get you prepared for the project on user forms? Let's just take a look at this data and get familiar with it. So it seems like there's several hundred products of data that we have here. I forget how many there are. It's 800 and some odd different products here. And so this is like from an outdoors store. So we've got what are all these things? So we have a category. We've got a category called footwear repair. That is in the department called apparel. And then we have like the manufacturer, the price, and the description of the product, something called leather sheen, mink oil paste, 6-ounce tube or something. And so that's the data that we're working with here. There's the name of the picture of this product, a column for promotions, full price, that's kind of a strange promotion. And what else do we have here? Some discount percent, and then a description of the product. So here's the idea. So what's the problem with the data? We've got the data is all here, but what's the problem with working with the data in this format? Let's just say, I got to edit some of these products from time to time. What's the inconvenient part about having the data just like this? Got a couple of things that are really inconvenient. No thoughts? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so one thing is I got to find it. Well, I've got Control F here and whatever. I can probably search for what I'm looking for. But here's the thing is that when I'm trying to change the information about this product, I got to verify that this product's right. I got to look at the catalog and make sure that everything's right. I can't even see all this product on the screen at a time. Well, I guess I can. Oops. I want to scroll out. Okay, so now I can see all the information well, not quite. Now I can see everything at once. But what's the problem now? I can't see anything, really. So even though it's only a tiny amount of information that I need, this is what's highlighted right now, because it's all on one row, and I've got all this other information I don't care about on the screen too, I can't really see the information I want to focus on. So it'd be great if I could say, you know what, take this row and organize it so it'll take up more of the screen, that's fine. This is stuff I want to focus on right now, so I want to see it all, or more of it, depending on how much data, I'm dealing with. The other thing is that when I start to edit this stuff, it could be a problem. I mean, here, if I look at department, how many different departments are there? I don't know. I'm just going to copy these departments. Go ahead and do this along with me because we're going to need a fixed list before the end of the day. I'm just copying all of column C. And I'm going to come over here to my promos tab, and I'll just paste it in here. I may as well paste it in column C as well. Paste. Oh, paste options, that's fine. And then I'll do data. What's the one that removes duplicates? Remove duplicates. Yeah, that's fine. So look, there's 800 rows, but there's only 4 different values in that whole column. So, if I'm going to go in there and change, something from one department to another department, I'm going to have to, type it in or copy it. And it's possible now that I'm going to spell it wrong. My life would be so much easier if I could give this to someone who maybe doesn't even know how to type but can click. I'm going to click and just choose from, there's only 4. Choose the one that I want that to be assigned to. I don't have to worry about spelling it wrong. That would be great. And there are other things we can do in terms of data validation that is desirable, and that's what we're going to do today with this user form. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. All right, so bringing open the Visual Basic Editor, and I'll say insert a user form, and we're starting with a brand new blank user form. Here's user form 1. I'll go ahead and change the name of it to, I'll call it FRM product. Changing the name. Always a good idea to give the name a proper name, at least to the form. Probably also a good idea to properly name all the controls you put on a form, but I get lazy sometimes myself. Definitely, if you're going to refer to that control through code, you want to name it. Let me change the caption as well here. Edit product info. Exit product info. Information. Okay. I need a little more room than this. All right, well, let's start off with some information here. I'm going to come to my first row, Control Home. I got a product ID, a category that it's going to be in. In fact, let's start with the product ID and the name. Let's get these two up here. So product ID, let's think about the product ID as being something we don't want the user to change. Look, they can change anything else, but don't be changing the product ID. So let's first bring the product ID on in such a way that we can identify what it is and let the user see it but not change it. Let's take a look. So here, I'm going to use the label control that will say, you know what, I want to bring on static text. User can see it, can't change it. And I'll go ahead and call it, actually I'm going to leave it called label 1. That's a great name for this one. I'm not going to refer to this through code or anything. I'll leave it as it is. The caption for this, I'm going to call it prod ID, P-R-O-D, maybe just prod number, product number. And I'll resize it a little bit. Doesn't have to be huge. Okay. Now, I don't want the user changing the label, for crying out loud. Let the labels stay the way they are, and so I'll use the label control. Now, I want to put up here the actual product ID. That's going to change depending on which record I'm editing. Which control should I use to do that? I don't want the user to be able to edit it, but I want to be able to change it. So what do you think? Did you say something? Private? I'm asking for which one of these controls I should use. And none of these are called private. One's called sergeant, one's called lieutenant, but there's none that's a private, up here. Boom, boom, okay. So should I use the text box? Probably not, because the text box says, hey, I'm editable. Now, it turns out there's a property of a text box called enabled, which you could say, yeah, show it here, but disable it. I'm not thrilled with that one. Yeah, go ahead. I could use a list box, but the whole idea from a list box is I've got multiple items in it. So you're right, I can't just change the value there. And I could probably make a list box, put one value on it, and get by with it. But it's not really what it's meant for. Yeah, just use a label for this too. Just because the user can't change the data in a label doesn't mean that the program can't. And so this will be great. So I'm going to bring a label. In fact, maybe I'll just copy this label. Just did a Control-C and a Control-V. Now, I want to do something to cue the user that this is, it's a field, but they're just not allowed to change it. And so instead of leaving it without a border, I'm going to come to where it's, let's give it a name first. I'm going to call it LBL ID. LBL is what we say for labels. And then ID, it's the product ID. Now, with that selected, there's something called border style. The default is none. I'm going to change the border style to single. So I'll have a border around it. That looks pretty good. I got a border there. And let me go. I'm going to change the background color as well. So here's the back color. I'll just make it a little bit darker gray. Now it turns out when I'm choosing colors in VBA, there are two options. One is I can say, you know what, make this color, make this the color the same as something else in Windows. And that way, if the user has put some different kind of coloring system in place where they've made everything bright pink, then this will it'll take those Windows settings. I don't want that. I'm going to come to instead of choosing system, I'm going to come to palette and say, I just want to pick a color. And I'll choose this slightly darker gray. And that to me says, that's data, but it's not editable. And that's fine. I'm happy with that. And maybe I'll align this so that the numbers go into the center instead of all the way flush left. So there's a text align property that I can change from left to center. And move it over a bit. Boop. A product number, that'll show the product number. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy over my label again here. And this one, I'll still leave it LBL2. That's just fine. I'm not going to refer to this by code. It's just going to be static. For the caption, I'll call this name, the name of the product. And now I want to put my first field on that the user is allowed to change, and that's going to be a text box. So again, pretty similar to what we've done so far. Some of these product names are kind of long, so I'll make it kind of big. This one I'll name txt name. And then I don't have to change any other property of it because it doesn't have a default text showing. NAME. Whew, so far so good. So this is, I know I'm going through this kind of quickly, but this is the same stuff we did last Wednesday. Well, mostly. Questions on what we have so far?
Which ones of them actually have different names?
So the two that I've given names to are the one that's named right now, txt name, and then this one is called LBL ID. The other two are the default names. And really, the default name is fine because I'm never going to have a line of code that refers to them. Now, I'm going to be writing code that changes what's shown here. I'll be writing code that changes what's shown here. And I'll have to write code that looks to see what the user's put here and writes it back out to the file. So I got to refer to that in a couple of different ways. But these, that's just static text. I'm happy with the kind of meaningless names. All right, let's go ahead and put an OK button on, and then we'll make this so it reads the values in. So let me put a button down here. But for right now, just says OK. I'll call it CMD OK. So given this, I brought in a command button. Remember, the command button is this guy right here. I gave it a name, CMD OK, and I'm going to give it a caption of OK. Caption OK. Now, if you can remember how to make this button close the form, that would be worth full credit for class participation. Anyone want to give it a shot? It's going to be the name of the form dot something. Anyone want to volunteer for it? No? Yeah, go ahead. It's hide, yeah. So then I could just say the name of the form dot hide. Also, I'll double click the button to get me to the code behind it. Double click. So I could say FRM product dot hide. Also for class participation, what could I put instead of FRM product? Anyone need class participation? You want to volunteer? Yeah, go ahead. Me, ME. So ME, just a shortcut that means whatever code holds, whichever form is holding this code, me.hide. Now ultimately, we'll have to put a lot more code in here to save it, but I just want to get the basics of this in place. I'm going to test the form by clicking the run button, the little play button here, and there, it's great, here it is. I say OK, and it goes away. Run it again, it comes back. Now, I need to, when this thing first opens, I got to bring in the product ID and the name. Whew, so how am I going to do it? Now, in the example that we did on Wednesday, we wrote code outside of the form that said, hey, open up the form and put something onto the form. The idea there is, you know, as I use that form in different contexts, I want to do something different with it. In this case, every single time I open the form, I want to put a product in there. And so I don't want to put that outside of the form. That belongs code inside the form. I'll give you a hint. The object that you're going to want is the user form. Now, find the property that's going to be the relevant property. There's a potload of properties for the user form. Which one is it? Just scan across those, and if you see holler it out if you think you see the right property. Initialize is the right property. That's correct. We'll come down here to initialize. Initialize is code that gets executed when the form first comes. Remember, there's three states. It can be unloaded, it can be loaded but not visible, and it can be loaded and visible. So right as that form is coming from being unloaded to being loaded into memory but not visible, that's when initialize happens. Subsequently, if I hide it and then show it again, hide it and show it, initialize doesn't get executed. But when it comes into memory for the first time, that's when initialize gets executed. All right, questions? Go ahead. So what about activate? Yeah, activate would do this here, but activate actually executes when this form becomes active. So if I have two forms, and I'm going back and forth between the two, each time I come to this one, the activate gets triggered. And so I probably don't want to activate. Incidentally, if I have this form open and then I hide it and I show it again, initialize on that second showing, initialize doesn't fire, but activate does. And so if this is something that I want to happen every time it becomes active, then activate would be a good place to do it. Let's put it on initialize because I need you to understand initialize. It's a really important event. And then we can think about moving it to activate. Depending on what our workflow looks like, we might choose to put it on activate. We'll see. Okay. So sub user form initialize. So this code's going to execute while that's first coming into memory. And it happens before it's visible. Activate becomes visible, and then the code executes. And so if we did this on activate, you'd see it one way, and then you'd kind of see it flicker. This way, we're going to configure it before it gets shown, and then it'll just be shown the way we've got it configured. All right, only two things we need to change here. So one of them is me.txtName.value is going to be equal to something. Now, how are we going to figure out which one to show? Any thoughts? and the user's opening this form, which product should we show? There's a couple of reasonable answers here, and a bunch of unreasonable answers. It's like hundreds of unreasonable answers and 2 reasonable answers.
Product that is highlighted on the sheet.
Product that has wherever the active row is. Good. There's another reasonable answer. The first one. I like your answer. Whichever one is whichever one is active. Now, it could be that they're somewhere that they're on a row that there isn't an active, there isn't any product data. We'd have to do something different. For right now, let's just go ahead and do that. In fact, let's make for ourselves a variable that holds that. Let's just call it row. So dim row as long. We can get by with integer. There's only 800 products, and so integer would be fine. My feeling is use long anytime you're referring to a row, just because rows can be long. I mean, you can have the number of rows you can have can be above 32,000. All right, now I'll set row here, right when I initialize, row equals active cell dot row. The row number of the active cell. Now let's see, what's the name of our worksheet? Oh, great, it's called sheet 1. No, it's called sheet 2. No, it's not. It's called sheet 3. That's a really bad name. I wish it was named something different. But instead of changing it here, because some students have trouble with that, depending on, I'm not sure what it is, but let's just go ahead and leave that sheet the way it is, and we'll initialize it here as well. So let me dim S as a worksheet, and we'll set S equal to worksheets, and the name of that worksheet is products. So whichever worksheet is named products, we're going to bind that to the variable S. And now we can say, our code will be a little bit shorter now, we can say S dot cells, which row do we want? Row number row, column number, is it 5? A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like it's column number 6. Oh yeah, and I always forget, we could just put in here F as a string. It takes that as well. Okay, questions? We're going to do something similar for our label ID property, our label ID control. A couple of things are different here. First one is just a matter of preference. It turns out, if I don't tell it which form it's on, which form do you think it's going to assume is the form? Yeah, the active form. So I don't have to type the ME. I could just say LBL ID dot. That's fine. I usually like to put the ME in there because if I put in ME dot, I get IntelliSense. And so when I put LBL, I can find this one that's spelled the right way, and I make sure it's spelled the right way. So either way is fine. And I'm going to change now, what do I change? The value property? Oh, there's no value property for a label. What's the property that shows what a label is showing? Caption. And so that's going to equal something really similar, except it's going to be column number 1. I think, yeah, that's where the product ID is. Okay, give that one a shot, folks. Go ahead and open it up, run it, and that should bring in that information from whatever the active row is. So I happen to be on the row number 4, so it shows me product 104, and it gives me a name, the wood duck squealer. Wood duck squealer? Squealer sounds more like a pig than a wood duck to me, but I'm okay with that. Okay, questions on the code so far? Let's do a little bit of data validation here. So if the user's on the very first row, what does it show? If I'm way up here and I run this, I get the header row. I don't want that. So let's do this. Let's say let's read the row, and then let's do this. If row equals 1, then what should we do? If the user's on the very first row and they say I want to edit this, We don't want to edit the current row. That's just the headers. Don't be editing the headers. We like them. Yeah, let's just go down to row 2. Row equals 2, and then let's activate that particular cell. So, we got to make sure. I put this above where we're binding onto the active worksheet, so let me go ahead and I'm going to bring that above this. I want to have a reference to that sheet first. In fact, let's go ahead and, in case the user's on some other row when this happens, or some other sheet, let's make sure that S is the active sheet. S.activate. That has the potential of changing our active row, so let's do make one more change here. I'm going to bring my row designation down to after I've activated the sheet. I like that better. So we're going to connect up to our product sheet, we're going to activate it, then we're going to read the active row, or the row of the active cell. Now if the row is 1, we'll set it to 2, and let's go ahead and activate that particular cell. So we'll just say cells, row, number, row, column number. We can either push the column number back to column 1, or we can leave the column number right in the column that they're on. Which one do you prefer? I kind of like leaving them on the column that they're on. So you know what, you're way up here, I'm just going to move you down. I'll do as little change as possible. So how do I figure out the column that's currently selected? Yeah, ActiveCell.column. And I will say .select. All right, so now we're just saying if you're on the first row, move down a row. That's great. We might get around to saying if you're down below the data, come up somewhere and hit some data, but let's leave that. You can figure that part out. We've got a lot to cover today. Okay, so we're doing a little bit of exploring to make sure we're showing the data the way we want to show it. So now, yeah, I was on the active row. I was on that first row, and it brought me down and showed the data for that one. I like it. How are we doing, folks? Are you keeping up? Anyone saying, holy cow, slow down? No? Okay, just a little bit? All right. All right, well, we have several other kinds of controls that I want to play with. So far we've dealt with controls that are similar ones we've got some experience with, but there are lots more to choose from. Next one, let's go ahead and do this combo box. So for this combo box, the idea behind a combo box, maybe before we do the combo box, we should do the list box. So I'm going to put the list box on next. So I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to click and drag to make this list box. Now, it's a list, and so I'm going to have multiple items in it. So let's go ahead and make it, so I can show multiple items. That might be more than I need. But again, I'll probably also want some label to explain to the user what this thing is. And so I'll put a label on this as well. So I'll bring in a label and put it just above it. And for this label, I'm going to call it, the caption is going to be promotions. So the idea is that a particular product can have multiple promotions that are currently active for it. And this is going to be the list of those active promotions. Now, there's 2 parts to getting this control configured. One is I got to build the list. And the second is I got to say, out of that list, which one should be selected. And so let's do those 2 steps. First, let's build the list. I'm going to come again to the initialize. And here's where I'm going to put in the information I need for that, for my promotions list box. Let me give it a name. I'm about to refer to it by code. I better have a name for it. So for this list box, instead of list box 1, I'm going to call it LST promo. LST promo, list promo. Now that I've got that name, I feel a little more comfortable writing code to put values into it. Here's how I do it. LST promo dot add item. in parentheses, then my arguments, they don't have to be in parentheses, my arguments are, what do you want to add in here? So let's say I've got a promotion called free shipping. And I've got another one called free warranty. Warranty. That's the warranty. Free warranty. That should be space. So it's going to add one in. It'll add the next one in. And as long as I keep saying add item, it'll just keep adding them in. So now if I run this, it should now have those two on. And these are now selectable. What's that? It's a free warranty. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm about to change it anyway. Then that, in fact, showing you that I could do those, by putting them in the code is just so you'll get familiar, you understand what add item does. Of course, I don't really want to embed my promotions into my code. That would mean if we change the promotions that are available, some programmer's got to come in here and change the code. That's a bad idea. What's a better place to put those promotions? Maybe on my sheet called promotions or promos. They're all right here. And so if I could just make a loop that reads the data off of this sheet and then puts that information in, all the user has to do is add another one here and it comes right into the form. So let's modify the code to do that. I'm not going to do very much with this one. I'll probably just leave it with the name promos here. I'll refer to it by its name. All right, so we declare another variable here, dim r as an integer, as a long, be referring to rows. And then pretty standard loop, folks, r equals 1. I don't think there's a header on that data. There's not. R equals 1. Do until sheets promo dot cells row r column 1 dot value is equal to a 0-length string. Promos, thank you. Increment r inside my loop. And now I will just bring in my add item statement into the loop. And instead of adding a hard-coded one, we'll add on promos cells r column 1. And so now this should load the promos into LST promo. Yeah. The question is, when did I declare list promo? And the answer is, I didn't really ever declare it. What I did was I brought on a Listbox, and then I gave it, and then I named it. So there's a Listbox control, and it's called LST promo. So now if I run this, it should bring on all of the promotions from that sheet. Okay. Whew. How are we doing, folks? Still good? Let us then do something a little bit fancy with this. In fact, why don't you go ahead and do this? Go ahead and run that. And what can I push play? Hit stop and then play again. What does it take for me to be able to select 2 of these? What if I decide, you know what, free shipping and a free warranty? How am I going to do it? What combination of mouse clicking and keystrokes is going to do that for me? It's a trick question because the answer is none. There is no combination of clicking and typing that will do that as it's currently configured. So let's change the configuration. If I want to be able to select multiple items, then I'm going to do that with a property called multi-select. And there are 3 options. There is 0, 1, and 2. 0 is, no, single select. You get to pick one. There's then what's called a simple multi-select, which is you click on it to turn it on, you click off it to turn it off. If you want to click 12 of these, you click all 12 of them. If you want to select them all, you click all 12 of them. Or there's this called extended multi-select, and then you can do things like click the first one, hold your shift key down and click the last one, it'll select them all. I don't know, extended is fine with me. So now if we run this, I should be able to, form's got to be the active guy. I should be able to click one, hold the control key down and click others, or click one, hold the shift key down, and it'll select the whole range between. Okay, so that's one of the nice things about a list box is that I can choose multiple items at the same time. Does it make sense to say I want to apply 2 promotions to this particular product right now? Yeah, you know what? We're having a hard time selling these things. We'll give buy one, get one free, free shipping, free everything. We'll give it all. Just take these things off our hands. Full price seems like a strange promotion. In fact, I don't like full price as a promotion. Let's come up with it. Let's get rid of it and come up with a different one. What's another promotion? What do you think? Give me a promotion. 10% off your next purchase. If you buy this one product, we'll give you, so I'll call this a discount, I'll call it discount coupon. Coupon. See, is that how you spell it? C-O-U-P-O-N? Coupon, looks right. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is instead of having over here in my products, right now the promotion on all of these is full price. Yeah, it's a weird promotion. Let's get rid of it. I'll just delete all of that. So right now, full price means there's nothing there. There's no promotion, so there's no promotion there. And now we've just got bona fide promotions in our promotion list. There we go. Well, the nice thing about this is that right now, I don't have to worry about selecting any individual item because none of them are selected. So let's go ahead and let's put one in here. On this very first one, I'm just going to copy a promotion in. I'll put in free warranty. So right here on row number 2, my very first product, I'm going to have a promotion free warranty. The rest of my promotions are gone. So what I want to do is I want to say, hey, when this form opens and I'm on row number 2, I want to select the free warranty. And that's not simple, but we can do it. So here we go. We're going to do it after we've loaded the possible promotions on. So now we're going to check to see, in fact, let's go ahead and do it while we're loading them. As we're looking at a particular promotion, all I want to know is I want to say, is the text for that promotion in the cell? And if it is, that's going to be a selected item. All right, so we're going to write the value in there, and then we're going to ask if that value that we're just looking at, or you know what, we could just pull it right here. It's the same value. We just added it in. But to show you another way to refer to the values once they're in the list box, let's look at it there. So if LST promo P-R-O-M-O dot, now here's how I refer to an item in the list. Dot list. The list box has an object called list. This is the first time we've seen a property that is an array. This list is an array of values that are in it. It's a single dimensional array right now. Turns out I can make a list box that has multiple columns. So far, just one column, so it's a one-dimension array. And, so I could refer to the very first one in the list by 0. Right? This would refer to that particular one. Now, I don't want to refer to the very first one. Instead, I want to refer to the last one. So how do I refer to the last one? So maybe there's so one thing I could do, since this is an array, I could just refer to the upper boundary of it, the one that's just added in there. That would work. There's another way to do it. Oops. So there's a property of the promotion called list. I forgot what it's called. Is it called count or list count? It's called list count. I could ask for the upper boundary of the list, or I could say the list count. What's the problem using the list count? If there's one item in the list, what does list count say? List count tells me 1. If there's one item in my array, what's its index? 0. And so list count minus 1. What I want to know is this value found inside this column, column H? So how do I look to see if one string is inside of another one? What function does that? INSTR. Start at the first character, look at a particular column, particular cell, look for that value I just added. And if that is greater than 0, then we've found a match. And we're looking in column number H. So in string, start at 1, look at column number H of my current row. Ooh. Not R. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong sheet altogether. Promos is where my list of promos is. Which sheet do I have to look at? Products. But remember, I've already bound a variable onto that. It's called S. And the row I'm currently playing with on my product sheet is called what? Row. So remember, I read in row from the active row. That's the reference to which row the product is on. R is a reference to which row I'm reading across the list of promotions. So now we're saying if the promotion we just added is already in this row, then I want to mark it as selected. It turns out there's another property of that list box that's called selected. LST promo dot selected. It's an array. It's a Boolean array. It's exactly the same size as my list array, but the selected array has only true and false values in it. So selected, which one am I looking at? List count minus 1. And it's then, do we say dot value? We don't say dot value because the property is an array. And remember, arrays are just collections of variables. There's no methods for them. There's no properties. It's just the value. So instead of saying value, we say that equals true. So as we're loading the items up, we're checking to see, is the item we just put in there on this row? And if it is, we'll mark the selected column. So if I play this now, free warranty comes up as selected because I'm on a row that says free warranty. If I close this, come over here to row number 3 and run it again, it won't be selected because it never found that match. We probably better do one more thing. And that is, right now, we don't have a way to get rid of, I guess we do. I guess we do. We can just unselect them all, so we're okay. Don't need to have to pick one that says don't choose any of these. We can just select unselect. Okay, this is a little bit more complex code here. How are we feeling? Want to review it at all? We're doing okay? You've got it on the video if you want to go back and review it, but we're okay. All right. So far we're just getting data in. We haven't started reading data out. Got a half hour. All right, so a couple of more items. I want to make sure that you're prepared for the project And so for that, we're going to look at the option button next. So if I look at the data, what we have here is we've put the list of different departments right here in column C. If you don't have that list of departments there, might be a good idea to write these in. Hunting, outdoor, general, and apparel. A list of departments. Several ways we could say pick the department that it's in. We could use a combo, we could use a list box, right? Just not let it be multi-select. You can only pick one of these. These are mutually exclusive. You pick a department, that's the department this product belongs to. I'm going to show you a different way. A different way is by making a set of option buttons. Let's take a look. So, coming to the form, option buttons are sometimes called radio buttons. The idea is on your radio, you've got, you got 12 different stations programmed, but you don't listen to 2 stations at a time. You pick one. And when you pick that one, if you had another one picked, it unpicks all the others. That's what a set of option buttons does. If I just have my option buttons sitting directly on the form, they can sit there, then those option buttons are all going to be in one set. So I can't have a set of option buttons here and a set of option buttons here. They're all on one set. So if I want to, so I almost always will put option buttons into a frame. If I have them inside a frame, then they will behave as a set separate from anything that's outside the frame. So let's bring a frame on first. The frame is this guy right here. It looks like XYZ with a little box. So I'm going to bring that frame here. I'm going to give it a name. Got to name the frame. And I'll call it FRA department. Maybe just debit. FRA debit. And for the caption, I will put department. Now that I have my frame built, I can bring in option buttons. What did I do here? So it's a frame. I changed 2 properties. FRA department is the name, and for a caption, I put department. Now I'm going to bring in 4 option buttons. Option button is this guy right here. It looks like the bullseye. It's a little round with a dot in the middle. I'll come in here and click and drag to create it. I'm going to name this one, my first one, OPT, forgot what it was called, hunting. OPT hunting. Caption is going to be hunting. Now, you may look at this and say, hey, you are putting data right here into the program. What happens if I get a new department? In this case, if I get a new department, we're going to have to come and change the code. Adding departments probably didn't happen that often. Adding promotions probably happens all the time. So I feel okay about doing this, although I do have some reservations of my own. Okay, so I'm going to select that option button. Again, change 2 properties, the name to OPT hunting, caption to hunting. And I'm just going to copy it so that I've got 4. Copy and paste. I'll try to get them spaced out evenly here. And then I will go name, oh darn it, I was almost there. I will go name them appropriately. So next one's going to be the outdoor, general, and apparel. So this one will be OPT general. And the caption will be general. Outdoor, OPT outdoor. Caption will be outdoor. Last one will be apparel, APPAREL. That was the caption. The name is OPT APPAREL. It doesn't have to look fabulous, but it does need to be named. They do all need to be named well. So now that we have this created, we've got to do something similar to actually get the values, to get the selected value in here. So let's go tackle that one. So I'll come back to my code, my initialize code, and now let's select the department. I think for this I'm going to use a case statement. Select case, and I'm going to look at my sheet to find out which department is currently on that row. My departments are in column number C3. I have my select and my end select. Case, all right. So if that's equal to hunting, then we're going to say OPT hunting what property do you think we have to work with? It's a Boolean. It's either checked or it's not checked. Well, it turns out it's got a property called value. But it's a Boolean value. So that is going to equal true. Now, if something else was selected before, not a problem. It's going to unselect anything else. So we'll need 4 of those. So we've got hunting, we've got outdoor, OPT outdoor. I'm going to do apparel next. And then instead of having this last one, I'm going to make this one, general. Actually, instead of saying if it's general, I'm going to say case else. And then this will be general, will be true. So we're saying if it's hunting, outdoor, or apparel, make those right. If it's anything else, just make it general. If they've got something spelled wrong, it just got moved to the general location. We could put something more sophisticated in there that says, hey, it's not any of these. What do you want to classify this as? But for right now, let's just say if it's anything else, we'll plug it there. So that should give us the correct, now the correct department selected. That's in hunting. Is that the right one? Yep, we're in hunting. We come down here to apparel and run this. We're in great shape. Now apparel is selected. So that's getting the option buttons configured. Close this. Back to my code. Here it is. Turns out checkboxes are just like option buttons, but they're individual. They have a value property. It's Boolean, but you don't ever have to look at them as a set. You set them and unset them as individuals. Okay, last one that I want to show you today then is going to be the combo box. It's called a combo box. Wait, do we have something to show the combo box with? Outdoor. I don't really have a good one to show the combo box. Wait, what's this? Category. Combo box is really similar to the Listbox. In fact, it's called a combo box because it's a combination of a text box because it shrinks down. It looks like a text box until you drop the arrow down, then it looks like a list box. So let's get these writing. So right now we're reading them, but I want to get them writing. Then if we have time, maybe we'll take a look at a combo box. All right. So let's come down here to the OK, or up here to the code for OK. And the idea is the user can change these things. Now let's get them written back out to the worksheet. Well, the ones where we're doing just the text, that's a breeze, because all you have to do is flip them. In the one case, we're reading off the worksheet, putting it onto the form. Now when we save it, we just put it from the form back onto the worksheet. So before I hide this, we're going to say, Oh, we got a problem. I want to say f.cells row, same row, equals whatever is there. What's the problem now that I'm looking at this variable row? Yeah, it's defined down here in this subprocedure. So is it accessible from here? No, but I do kind of like it. In fact, I like both having the row and the sheet accessible from anywhere. And so let me cut those out and bring them up and make them module level variables. And so now when the form gets initialized, I'm going to give my values to my row and my sheet. And so as long as that form's open, I should be able to connect onto those. So now if I make a change, when the user clicks OK, we're going to take whatever value is on that form and we're going to write it into column F of the sheet. Yeah, go ahead.
For the SS worksheet, do you still product?
Yeah, so good. The question is, do I have to somehow tell it that it's the product worksheet that we're talking about? And the answer is, because I set it here when the form initialized, and because that's a module level variable, that binding is going to stick around as long as the form's open. So until I change it to something else, that's what S is going to be. So the question is, it's defined in both subs once I set it, and the answer is, it's one variable. It's available to all subprocedures. Because I bound it down here in initialize is going to happen when it opens, then that variable is going to maintain its value until the form closes, until it's unloaded, or until I change it to something else. So it will still be bound onto that worksheet when I get here. All right. We'll use a case statement to write out the option buttons as well. But this is going to throw you a little bit. It's a little bit interesting. Let's give it a shot. Select case. I'm going to put some X's right here for now. We're going to put something else in there. END select, end select. Okay, and so now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to look for that. I'm going to say if that value, whatever I put here, if it matches OPT general's value, then what are we going to put? Where do we put it? Are we in? Which column are we in? Column C. Then column C's value is going to equal general. And then we've got outdoor, we've got hunting, and we've got apparel. Now, remember the big difference between a select case statement and a bunch of if, else if, else if, else if statements is that when I'm using the else if structure, each comparison is totally independent from each other. But when I'm using the select case, I look at one value here and I check for equality between that value and this. If I find it, great. If I don't, I move on. If I find it, I execute that line. Otherwise, I move on. So what do I put here? Only one of these is going to be selected. And when it's selected, its value is going to be what? True. It'll be true or false. Each one of these is going to be either true or false. So I want to say, listen, if this one's true, if this is the selected one, then write out this. If this is the selected one, write out this. So what do I put here? I put true. So I'm going to compare this value to this. I'm going to say, hey, is that a match? If it is, it's general. If it's not, I look at the next one. If not, look at the next one. So far, every time we've used the select case statement, we've put some kind of variable statement right after the initial case. And then we've looked for literals everywhere else. In this case, we're putting a literal and seeing which of these variable expressions matches it. Oh, we do. Thank you. Yep, we got to put the case in there. Sorry, a syntactic oversight. Had you not helped me with that, the interpreter would have been more than happy to point that issue out to me. Yeah. Okay, so we've got that one. Next one we've got is the. Let's go ahead and run these first. The next one's going to take a little more work. So I'll bring this up. Right now, this is in the hunting category. I'm going to change it to general, and I'm going to give it a. We don't have. I'm going to change its name. So instead of weighted keel standard mallard, unweighted keel standard mallard. I don't know. Unweighted. I changed it from hunt. So I've changed two things. I've changed the name and I've changed it to the general department. You say OK. And that's been changed to general here, and it's now unweighted. So far so good. If I would have, clicked the X, or if we had a cancel button that didn't run us through that code, we'd be in good shape. Okay, so now for that list box, the trouble is we can choose multiple items. And so we got to choose something, some multiple item. Let's find out how to deal with that. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a loop that loops through that list of selected items. Since I'm doing a loop, I'll declare a variable here. I'll just dim x as an integer. For x equals 0 to the upper boundary of lstpromo.list. So I have an upper and a lower boundary. I could have just as easily said lstpromo.listCount -1, just showing the opposite way to get here. So I want to look at that. lstpromo has a property that keeps track of which ones are selected. What's that property called? It's an array. It's a Boolean array. It is named selected. And that's either going to be true or false. So it's an array, so I got to tell which one I'm looking at, number x. So if that evaluates to true, then this code will execute. Let's take a look at that in just a second. Let me finish my end if. Okay. So the question is, shouldn't I put the x in parentheses here? And the answer is no. lstpromo is an object all by itself. It's not a collection of objects, it's just an object. It has a property called selected, which is an array. And so I'm dealing with this property, and I tell it which one out of the array that's in this property do I want to deal with. So if that's selected, I'm going to want to keep track of it. And so, let's create ourselves a variable. I'm going to create another variable up here called promo list as a string. So promo list is going to be blank. It's a brand new variable. It would be initial. When I hit this, it's going to be initialized to a 0-length string. It's blank when I start. And so now all I want to do is I want to add, because there could be multiple ones of these selected, I want to kind of accumulate these up in that string variable. So if I found one that's selected, I'm going to say promo list is equal to what it used to be, concatenated with a comma. Concatenated with the item that we know is selected. So lstpromo dot, to get the item that was just selected, which property do I use? The selected property tells me which one is selected. So if I put selected here, what's this going to put in? Yeah, this is going to put true. I don't want to see true, comma, true, comma, true. That doesn't tell me what I need to know. I want to see buy one, get one free, comma, free warranty. And so what do I put here? List. The list is the property that actually holds the values in the list. Okay, so let's think about how this executes. Let's suppose I have two of them selected, free warranty and free shipping. So I come here, I look at the first one. The first one was someone we made up. I don't remember what it is. So that one's not going to trigger this. We get to the next one. That one is selected. Let's say it's free warranty. There's no reason to imagine it. We can look at it. It's free shipping, so the next one's free shipping. That one is selected. Promo list right now is what? Zero length string. It's going to be equal to zero length string, a comma. What's the first character of this going to be? It's always going to be comma if something is selected. And then we're going to put on free shipping. We come to the next one, free warranty. My list promo is comma free shipping. I'm going to add on another comma and free warranty, and that's what I'm going to end up with. The problem here is I'm going to have an extra comma at the beginning that I don't really want by the time I finish this loop. So now let's just do this. Let's say if promo list is equal to a zero length string, that means there were none selected, then we'll do something. Otherwise, we'll do something else. So if there's none selected, what do we want to do? We're going to change something here that's an 8. What do we put there? What do we put in column 8, column H, if there are no promos selected? In fact, do we need to do anything if no promos are selected? What do you think? Is there anything to do if there's no promotions are selected? The answer is yeah, there could have been a promo. When we opened this, there might have been a promo there. We unchecked it. We got to get rid of whatever was there. And so here, we're just going to assign that to a zero length string. That's how we say there's no promotions. Whatever was there, get rid of it. Now, on the other hand, if it's not a zero length string, that means we added at least one promotion to it. What are we going to write out? We don't just want to write out promo list because we've got an extra comma. We want to write everything but the first character. How do we do it? What function is going to help us with that? The right would do it. It's a little more work. The mid is going to be a lot better for us because we can say mid of promo list starting at the second character. That skips the first one. And if I don't tell it how many characters to take, it takes the rest. So now we should write out a comma-separated list of promotions into that cell. This seems like a lot of work to be able to say I want to save which promotions they have selected. It really is. How many of you have done any kind of form development like this in something like Microsoft Access? Easier in Access or harder? Yeah, to do something like this, way easier because it knows I'm a database. I know exactly what to do. With you chosen the list, I'll record it. I don't have to do anything to record this. Here we got to add the code. So now I should be able to run this. Didn't I say select the product sheet? I thought I said select the product. Oh, it must not have been unloaded. Make sure that it stopped. Run this. There, good. Select the product sheet. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all these promotions. Hold the shift key down, add them all, say OK. Then let's take a look. And all those promotions are now in there.
How do you select more than
Hold down the shift key or the control key, and then you can click them individually. So now if I come and only put a couple of these on, say OK, it should give me just those two, and it does. And when I run it again, to make sure it's completely stopped, when I run it again, it should bring up those two as selected. So, folks, working with multiple items in a list box is a little bit involved. And I wanted to make sure we covered it because I'm asking you to do that on your project. The one thing that we haven't covered so far is the combo box. And we don't really have time to do it. Combo boxes, you add items into them just like you add them into list boxes. The nice thing about it is that the combo box has a selected array as well. Does it? Combo box may not have a selected array. I don't remember. But you can look at the one that's selected just by asking for its value, because when it's selected, it puts the value. It has a value property just like a text box. And so you fill it up like you would a list box. You read the value out of it like you would a text box. Question? No? Yes? Don't use the end statement. What does the end statement do? In fact, one more thing, let's do this. Probably what we should do, since we're relying on the initialize procedure, the initialize event to load this up, probably after we say OK and we're done with it, we should probably go ahead and unload it. That'll make sure each time we call this form, it goes through the initialize. Because there's other ways to do it. But instead of saying me.hide, I'm going to say me.unload. Or unload me. Yeah, so that comment in there is because our last book used to encourage you to use the end statement, kind of at this point in the book. I'm not sure if our new book does or not. But what does the end statement do? What if I said unload me and then said end? End just says, stop all VBA code. Kill it. I don't care what's running. I don't care what's on the call stack, what's currently being called and we're in the middle of working through. Kill it. We're dead. And that's an okay thing to do unless my grader is trying to grade your project. Right? My grader is sitting here writing in VBA. It's looking at things. It's open your form and say, go to this row, open the form, change this, hit save, see what it's going to do. If you say end, that thing's dead too. So don't say end. It's going to kill the program. It'll kill the grader. So just unload instead of end, and you're in good shape. Other questions? Yes? Did I unload on both subs? The answer is no. In fact, if I try to unload on the initialize, that's kind of a bad idea, right? It says as soon as you load it into memory, unload it. In fact, I think it won't even let you. It'll realize you're trying to unload it, and I think it'll say, no, can't unload. I don't remember though. Maybe it does. So yeah, I only put the unload when you said OK. All right, that's it, folks. That's all we're doing on forms. Ugh. You get into that project, you've got a TA who's like an expert with forms. He can help you with that. Go see him. Talk to your friends about forms. Not, of course, about the context of the assignment, but other things. Come see me. You have until when to do the exam? How many of you still have to take the exam? Most of you? OK, just checking. Not until Friday. See you in class on Wednesday. Class dismissed.